Michigan's Aday Mara looks like he could be Spain's next lottery pick. This is Floor and Ceiling. Let's break him down. Aday Mara is a top 15 pick for me in the 2026 NBA draft right now due to his combination of size, rebounding, feel, shot blocking, and at-rim scoring. He reminds me of a fancy Donovan Clingan, a less assertive Zach Edey, or in a lower-end outcome, Neemias Queta. Mara's passing creativity in particular is what will pop the most on tape, but I'm high on him because of how he combines that with everything else. It's hard to turn down all of those things from a 7'3" big with a track record of improvement and production across different contexts. At the same time though, I do have concerns about the Michigan center's body, his defensive limitations, his usage relative to his position, and his high turnovers, as well as his terrible free throw shooting. Right off the bat, I think we should address the biggest elephant in the room, which is Mara's defense in space. I'm not super concerned, I'll admit, although I doubt that he'll excel in every context at the next level. The Spanish center is huge, he blocks tons of shots, and he dissuades attackers from attacking the basket or touching the paint. Now, Mara is never going to be switchy or guard at a high level in space, but this year I think he showed enough foot speed, versatility, and effort in pick and roll situations to the point where I feel okay about his defense. He reminds me of Zach Edey in this regard. He's huge and he knows how to position himself, so ultimately it's not that easy to get around Mara or fully beat him, even if he might look awkward or maybe quote-unquote too big. Let's start off with Mara's play finishing. He's an instant catch and finish threat when he's being set up, and he should have this in the NBA at least in the long term, but I do want to note that he's at his best when he's paired with a table-setting guard. Thanks to his size, Mara is an instant lob threat, he has a huge radius, and he has solid, although maybe not excellent hands. I'm curious to see whether he's able to roll more as we look towards the future. In 28 possessions as a roller, he's shooting 75% from the field, and in total at the rim this season, he's at 77.5% from the field. Mara is also getting fouled a lot, which is nice because he's not a huge vertical leaper or a particularly explosive finisher. It's worth noting that he's missed some makeable dunks, but overall, the numbers, the touch, and the feel make me buy into his finishing at the basket. Mara is also a really creative passer for a center, as I've said. He throws no-look passes, behind-the-back reads, over the heads, just about everything. In particular, I think we'll see that he's an excellent post passer, or really whenever he gets the ball around those elbow areas. Mara reads and deals with doubles to find cutters or create three-pointers. He finds passes through tight windows with accuracy and diverse technique that, in my opinion, is abnormal for a big. On top of all of this, Mara is also a capable skip passer. He sees over the tops of defenses and he executes with touch, forcing them into rotation. Thinking about the NBA, I want to see more of his short roll passing. Now, it's promising I think, and most signs point to Mara reading the floor well, but I just need to see more. Then, in transition, he has some cool flashes with outlets and hit-aheads. These can be valuable off of defensive rebounds since Mara can then instantly push his team up the floor. However, these can go awry, and as I'll get into, I am a little concerned about Mara's propensity for turnovers. Going back to the Michigan prospect's defense, the main thing here is his shot blocking and rim protection. Mara is posting a 12.7 block percentage, which would lead the Big Ten, and he also leads the conference in blocks per game. The Spanish big is impactful when he's hanging back at the rim and helping on a drive. Maybe his foot speed and his movement patterns aren't that twitchy, but Mara is still so huge and coordinated that I think that he covers a decent amount of ground while reading the game pretty well. Then, as I highlighted at the top of the video, I really don't think that he's a total stiff. This year, the signs in space, I think, have really improved. Mara can open up his hips once and stay parallel to straight line drives. I think that this mostly happens when the attacker doesn't get that physical with him, but still. Mara has gotten better at contesting without leaving his feet after tracking the drive. He also offers good verticality, and his hand placement on a lot of his blocks is pretty impressive. In addition to all of this, Mara is getting stops even when he's not getting the block or the number. Attackers see him in the paint and they don't want to keep going or even take the shot at the basket. In terms of strengths, I'll cap off with Mara's rebounding potential. I think there are some really solid signs, but this has also been inconsistent throughout his career. Really what I'm saying is that I want to see Mara's work on the glass go up another notch still. He's gotten tougher on the boards over time and much better at repeating efforts. However, I do think that there's a little bit more to be obtained, at least from his offensive rebounding, and then I have questions as well over whether he can control the glass by himself at the next level on the defensive boards. Still, Mara's size, feel, and increased motor definitely allows him to extend possessions for his team. He can get a rebound and an assist in the same sequence, which is always great. Mara isn't going to jump out of the gym, but I think his second jump is fine. He tracks misses for tip dunks, and he can be impactful with tip-ins around the basket as well. So this is ultimately an area that I'm still tracking, but I buy in the long term. Getting into improvement points, the biggest one that I want to mention right off the bat is that Mara's free throw shooting has been awful this year, and I don't think that last year was very encouraging either at 57.7% from the line. The biggest thing for me is that Mara is actually leaving a ton of easy points on the table, considering how often he's getting fouled. Then this is fine, but it's worth noting, and in a way it is tied to his free throw shooting as well, which is that Mara didn't take any threes as a freshman or a sophomore, and this year at Michigan, he's at 0 for 4 from deep. One thing I'm curious about is whether Mara is posting up too much, or whether he's too reliant on back to the basket possessions. I mentioned earlier how I really like him as a roller and I want to see that more. Well, that's in contrast to these post-ups where his points per possession actually drop in comparison to his rolling. Naturally, these are harder shots, so what I want to see is Mara's play balance tilting towards rolling and play finishing instead of creating his own looks with his back to the basket. Of course, I do value this. Mara has soft touch with his hooks. He has nice footwork for the most part with how he uses drop steps to create space, and then is smart at using the rim for reverse finishes. Still, I just don't think these are the best shots for him, and I'm not sure that most NBA teams would either. I've been highlighting how I'm actually not low on Mara's defense, but that doesn't mean that I don't have questions or that I don't think there are some physical and defensive limitations to consider. Mara is a 7'3" big, so naturally these apply the most in space. He doesn't adjust that well when he's bumped, and overall I think he fouls a bit too much. The worst case scenario sees him struggling even more in the NBA once he faces more skill, length, athleticism, and space. I'm unsure if he'll truly be able to keep up against teams who go small or who constantly look to drag him out to the perimeter. I expect Mara to mostly, although not exclusively, be a drop defender, and I recognize that's not always a look that teams can turn to. Then, as a playmaker on offense, I'm also just not sure that he's a seamless fit for every organization. After all, we're talking about a big who needs fairly decent usage, a lot of touches, extended time on the ball, and reps to act as a distributor. As of January 25, Mara is sitting at a 1.1 assist to turnover ratio, and ideally he needs to stay above that 1.0 mark and even tick up, but history implies that he'll stay around there. For more on that, you can check out the Floor and Ceiling Substack. The link is in the description for a more in-depth scouting report and written notes on Aday Mara. But my point here is that he needs too much time on the ball, and he still turns it over quite a bit. Mara is an exciting and flashy passer, able to make advanced reads, but he needs to take better care of the ball still. As always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. Make sure to leave a comment telling me what you make of Aday Mara and where you have him on your draft boards. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure to subscribe to the Floor and Ceiling Substack, and make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. Take care, and I'll catch you guys next time.